Hi guys, welcome to the big card reading. So today we'll see how do people see you? How do they perceive you? So we've got three piles. Pile 1 with a shell, pile 2 with the bismuth stone, and pile 3 with just a stone I picked up while traveling. So you can pause, pick your pile, and we'll get right into your reading. Hi guys! So if you chose pile number 1, this is your reading. So we're gonna see how do people perceive you. So we have the High Priestess, the Chariot, the Four of Cups, and the Hermit. Then as clarifiers we have the Three of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. Then I have Silent, Kind, Humility, and Expert. So as astrological signs, we have Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and Virgo. You don't have to have those signs in your chart, but this is what's coming up. Now, just a disclaimer, this is how people perceive you. This is their impression of you, but it doesn't mean that it's you. It doesn't mean that it applies to you. It just means that that's how people see you. So if there's something that you don't resonate with, well, maybe they're not perceiving you the right way. Or maybe you haven't picked the right pile, but I mean, this is a perception of others. So we have the High Priestess and the Three of Cups. Well, generally in the reading, I feel like people perceive you as a very quiet person because we have the High Priestess, which is kind of a secretive person, and she doesn't really talk to people, and she's mysterious. Well, it's not that she doesn't talk to people, it's that she's quiet. And then the Hermit is also kind of an introvert card, and there's Silent right here. So people perceive you as more of an introvert. I feel like in a group setting with the High Priestess and the Three of Cups, they feel like you don't talk a lot. They feel like you're pretty secretive. They also feel like you're mysterious. They could also see you as magical in some type of way. People could get some type of spiritual vibe coming out of you. I feel like some people could wonder if you practice like some type of magic, like witchcraft or just something esoteric. I feel like they could have this kind of impression, but really I feel like they see you as someone who's like secretive and quiet and doesn't talk much. You could also be perceived as sensual. The high priestess is kind of has kind of this sensual energy, and this is really in group settings, like when you are amongst a bunch of people. That's how like the group sees you. That's how you're perceived in a group setting, with friends or hanging out or going out or even at parties. Maybe you're more quiet. I feel like you could be more of a small group type person, like just having a few friends or just liking hanging out with a few people rather than a huge group. I feel like people think that about you. Now there's the Chariot and the Ace of Wands. So this is interesting because it's like you're really perceived pretty much everywhere in the reading as a very quiet person, but with the Chariot and the Ace of Wands, it doesn't like affect your power in a sense. It's like they see you as someone who will go forward, who will take action. They see you as someone who has a drive. With the Chariot, it's like you're a master you're a master at bringing contradictory elements in your own life and making your way with it. So let's take an example. Oh, okay. You're good at compromising to be able to move forward. And this is action. It's not just like with your feelings or something like that. It's like, say you're at work and there's this goal that you have, but there's this obstacle that is preventing you from attaining your goal that you would want to. Well, they see you as having the ability to find a compromise between getting your goal and winning over the obstacle. It's like you're able to just in people's eyes, you're able to move forward whatever obstacles are in your way. And with the Ace of Wands, this amplifies the passion, the drive, the inspiration. It's like you're almost creative in the way that you move forward, in the way that you make things happen. And this is something that they see too. You make things happen. I feel like they could see you as an introverted person, but an introverted person with a lot of drive, with a lot of passion, with a lot of resources. And the Chariot is kind of stubborn too. It's like he'll keep moving and he'll adapt to change. Now, there's the Four of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. So if I feel like people see you as someone who doesn't really like working in teams. I feel like you're not, that's not necessarily you, but they see you as someone who would rather do the work themselves than having people help them. Because here there's like the Four of Cups is like someone is giving you something and you're like no, and here the Three of Pentacles is like teamwork. So I feel like you'd rather like do your own thing than have to rely on people to do the work. And so this means that like if you're in a group setting and there's this work that you need to do as a team, like whether that be at school or at your job or in whatever setting, but this is more about like school or job. So at school or at work, if you have to work with other people, people could perceive you as not being really good at teamwork. And that's because they feel like you'd rather do it alone, do it by yourself. Now there's the Hermit and the Page of Cups. So this is similar to the High Priestess, but it's like saying that you're more introverted. Then again, it's also about having some type of inner guidance, being a bit more spiritual. And clarified by the Page of Cups, I just feel like you don't talk much, especially about your feelings. With the Page of Cups, they see you as someone who keep things to themselves, who doesn't really talk much about their feelings. Yeah, that's pretty much it with this. You could be talkative. I don't really see it because they're silent here, but regarding feelings especially, they see you as keeping this to yourself. Now, there is silent, so they probably don't see you as talkative. They probably think you're pretty quiet. Then there was kind. So they see you as a very kind person. Maybe, this often happens actually when you're kind of a quiet person. I mean, with kind and also humility, they feel like you're respectful. Like, they don't feel like ignored by you, or they don't feel like you don't care about them. They just feel like you're more introverted and that you don't talk much, and that you're respectful of them. And they feel that you're kind. That's pretty straightforward. And humility is just like, oh, this relates to this expert here, because I feel like people perceive you as being very good at what you do, which could be the reason why they see you as not being that great at teamwork, because you just do better on your own, because you're good at what you're doing. So if you're doing some type of job or you're studying, well, you're really good at it. You're good at finding compromises. You're good at resolving conflicts. You're good at moving forward towards your goal. And you're actually expert in what you're doing. And that could be the reason why they see you as not being that great at teamwork, because you're just good by yourself. And then with humility, it's like they're not perceiving that in a cocky way. Like, they're not perceiving you as being cocky. They just, because you're humble, it's like you're good at what you're doing, and it is just true, but you're not cocky about it. So yeah. The main theme here is that is the silence, the quiet, the mystery, the reserved type of energies. But yeah, if you chose pile number 2, this was your reading. This is how people perceive you. I hope it resonated. If it did, like, subscribe, and comment. Oh my god, like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Hi guys! So if you chose pile number 2, this is your reading. We're gonna see how do people perceive you. So we have the Four of Swords, the King of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Queen of Pentacles. Then as clarifiers we have the Seven of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Cups, and the Two of Cups. Then we have Patience, Truthful, Protected, and Austerity. Or austerity, I don't know. So the only major arcana card we have is the Hierophant, so sign associated with this reading would be Taurus. Now you could be any sign, you could be any earth sign. I feel also a lot of air, so I feel like you could have your moon in an air sign, and then you have some type of earth sign as your sun sign, but you don't have to. That's just like the energies here. Now, little disclaimer, this is how people perceive you, so this doesn't mean that it is you, it doesn't mean that it applies to you. This is just the impression that you make on other people. So let's start here. There's the Four of Swords and the Seven of Cups. So I feel like you're a deep thinker. I feel like you're a lot, well, people think or perceive you as being a lot in your head. I feel like you could be the type of person who's like in a group setting and like everyone is talking and you just zone out because you get lost in your thoughts, or you could just get lost in your thoughts a lot. Or maybe when people talk to you, it's like you really deeply think before you answer, or you might just often be thinking. So I feel like, yeah, the people see you as being a lot in your head, as thinking a lot, as being how do you say that, it's like not calm, but it's like calm in a way with the Four of Swords, but it's like a deep thinker, just like you think things through. Now, since it's clarified by the Seven of Cups, I feel like this is like a lot of thoughts, like overwhelming thoughts, and it's also about like fantasizing. They could be seeing you as being a little dreamy, like too much in your head, too much up in the air. Well, I mean, when I say too much, I just mean that it's a lot, like compared to maybe other people. So yeah, this is pretty much what it's saying. It's like they perceive you as being a lot in your head, in the sense that you think a lot, you fantasize a lot, or maybe you're zoning out a lot. It's not really in like stressful way or anxiety type way. It's really just in a like dreamy, fantasizing kind of way. Okay, so now there's the King of Swords and the Knight of Wands. So people see you as being very smart. They see you as being very decisive, very straightforward. You could be good with words or just very straightforward with your word. You could be very truthful, fair-minded. And with the Knight of Wands, maybe you talk too fast. I feel like maybe it's funny because it's like you think so much. You think things through so much, but then maybe sometimes it's you're just having so much thought, and like you speak before realizing that maybe you shouldn't have said what you've just said. Or maybe you just talk fast. Maybe people think that you talk fast. And I feel like if you are the type of person who thinks a lot and who has a lot of thoughts, or who is fantasizing a lot or daydreaming a lot, well, maybe you have a lot to say, or maybe your thoughts, I feel like your thoughts are disorganized in the eyes of other people. With the Seven of Cups, your thoughts are disorganized. So maybe when you talk, it sounds disorganized, and people are like, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? What are you saying? I feel like it's funny because you're straightforward and you're truthful and you're very smart, but there's so much going on in your head when you talk. I feel like people have a hard time following you. Like maybe you're the type of, like, this is a lot of air energy. Like maybe you're the type of person who will like start a story and then like go and tell people about 7 other side stories that are related to the main story, and kind of get lost in your story on the way. I feel like you could be this type of person, or people could perceive you this way. Now, with the Hierophant and the Queen of Cups, this is a very different energy. I feel like you could have very strong values, like a set of strong principles that you follow with the Hierophant. You could be kind of a traditional person, or your values could just be like kind of set in stone, and it's like you really follow through those values that you have. This with the Queen of Cups could be about your emotions, or about okay, I feel like you have like very pure type of values. Like your with the Queen of Cups, it's like you value what other people feel. You care about what other people feel. You care about other people in general. You have a big heart. You're very compassionate, and your values are based on this like love that you feel inside of you. And so you could have values like you know, like being kind to people, or just, and like obviously a lot of people have those type of values, but you know, some people are like don't really understand how their own behaviors is affecting other people. And I feel like you're very much aware of other people's feelings and how you affect other people. And I just feel like people are seeing you as being really full of love, and they see you as having very strong and pure-hearted values with the Hierophant. Like they could be a bunch of things that you don't allow yourself to do because you feel like it would be unfair to other people. Anyways, with the Hierophant and the Queen of Cups, I just feel like people perceive you as having a set of values that are based on a hard place, a loving place. They could see you as pure-hearted. I think I've said it, but I'm saying it again. And with the Hierophant, it's a Taurus energy, so they could perceive you as kind of stubborn. Stubborn and just very set in what you believe in. With the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Cups, they perceive you as being very caring, very nurturing. You could be like the mom friend, even if you're a masculine, you could be the mom friend. Like, this is how people would perceive you. In relationships, since there's the Two of Cups here, they could perceive you as being very motherly. And even like in a friendship. But since the Two of Cups here, I feel like, especially in like romantic relationship, people perceive you as being very motherly, very caring, and like, you know, like the type of person who would cook for their partner, or just do the laundry for their partner, or just clean up for their partner, or like, you know, practical stuff that are like, that shows that you love them. Now there's patience. So we see that a lot here with the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is patient, the Hierophant and the Queen of Pentacles. So people perceive you as being patient. There's truthful, I've already mentioned, and it's comfort with the King of Swords. People see you as being someone who is truthful, who values speaking the truth, and values knowing the truth too, I feel like. Since the Hierophant has kind of a spiritual aspect to it, I feel like it's either that you have your own set of values, or for some of you, maybe you have some type of religion, and it's like you follow the principles of your religion, and it's like it's good, it's like good for the people, and it's like virtuous. I don't know if I say that correctly, but virtuous, I think, like virtue, yeah. And with protected, I'm feeling different things with this card, protected. I feel like in a way they could perceive you as being a protected person, like in life in general. Like, even if it's not true, even if you've been through shit, people could perceive you as like if you have been, as if you would have been protected your whole life by, like, I don't know, a spiritual community, or by a healthy set of values, or by, I don't know, good-hearted people or something like that. They could see you as being protected or lucky in a way. And it doesn't mean that it's true, but that's how people perceive you. Maybe because you're so good, you know, because people that are like have very bad habits, or are mean, or like are toxic, it's often because they've been through shit when they were little, or like in the past, and so they've grown to be a like bad person. And so since you're so good-hearted and kind and loving, maybe people perceive you as being untouched, like protected, which, like, doesn't really make sense when you're a good person and you've been through shit and you've just dealt with it in a way that's healthy. Like like that's possible, but that's just like what they think, what they perceive. It doesn't mean that it's true. So with austerity, you could be very stern. Like it's a bit with like with the Hierophant, like you could be strict with yourself or with your principles. Like you have strong principles, strong values, strong morals, and you could be very strict about it. So let's say, it's just an example, but let's say you're vegetarian, then you could be very strict about being vegetarian, like really not eating any type of meat at all. Or let's say you don't drink, well, you could be very strict about not drinking, like you wouldn't even taste alcohol once in a while, like that kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be those examples, but people perceive you as being very strict with those kind of things. They also feel like you dress very simply, like you're simple. You don't necessarily look for attention. It's like it's just like dressing in some type of simple way, like not eccentric really. So yeah, if you chose pile number 2, this was your reading. This is how people perceive you. I hope it resonated. If it did, like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Hi guys, so if you chose pile number 3, this is your reading. So we're gonna see how do people perceive you. So you guys were my a bit more complicated pile when I shuffled. You've got like 4 more cards than other people because it was kind of complex. Anyway, so we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Devil, the King of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. Then as clarifiers, we have Temperance, the Hangman, the Ace of Swords, and the Moon. And as second clarifiers, we have the Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, the Sun, and the Knight of Pentacles. Then we have Sacrifice, Controlling the Mind, modest, and exclusively surrender to Krishna. Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Temperance, and the Nine of Pentacles. So first off, I feel like people perceive you as being very good with money, like with finances. Because, and like, oh yeah, I forgot, disclaimer, this doesn't have to apply to you. Maybe what I'm going to say isn't describing you, but this is just a perception of like how people see you. So they could have a wrong perception of you, you know? So like, don't be offended if like something doesn't apply to you. This is just the way that people perceive you, like generally speaking. So Ace of Pentacles, Temperance, Nine of Pentacles, people see you as being very good with your money. It's like you balance your finances in a way that really benefits you. I also see, since the devil is here with the Ace of Pentacles, that people could perceive you as being very materialistic, like you accord, or like you give a lot of importance to the physical, to the material, to the senses, like being wealthy, experiencing pleasure, and that kind of thing. So you could be very money orientated, but this is not in a negative way. This is like, they see it in a positive way. Like, you're good with your money. You take the opportunity you have, you take gifts from the universe, and like you're good at managing it. It's like they're not seeing you as the type that would just waste money or just buy random useless stuff. And maybe you have, but that's not how they perceive you. They're perceiving you as being kind of like quite actually self-reliable, like self-sufficient, and kind of wealthy. I'm looking for a word, I can't find it, but it's like they see you as having a lot of like precious thing. Like, they could be seeing you as being a little bougie. Like, honestly, that could be it with the Nine of Pentacles. They could see you as being a little bougie, but they perceive you that way because they feel like you're really good at dealing with like finances and stuff like that. They see you as abundant too, materially wise. You could dress very well. You could have a lot of like things that like I don't know, like candles, or like just objects that are like pretty, or like that have value, or things like that. Or maybe like your fridge is always full or something like that. it's like you know when to spend and when to keep your money. It's like you're smart with that. You're balanced. That's how they see you. So then the devil, the hangman, and the queen of swords. So see here, there's this little something with also the nine of cups and the moon. You could have some type of, well, people could see you as having some type of toxic behaviors. Like with the devil, it could be like sex addiction, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, like hard drugs, or just even weed, or maybe medication. It could be like they see you as having some type of addiction or some type of a, like some type of toxicity that's like addictive and that you're dealing with. Like I feel like they see you like as being an hedonist. I don't know if you know what that means, but a hedonist is like someone who values pleasure in life. So like the pleasures of life in a like pleasuring your senses. So that could be like sexual, that could be just uh like I said, with drugs or alcohol or something like that. But since it's clarified with the Queen of Swords, I feel like they perceive you as wanting to cut that off. Now, actually, I'm seeing two things. Either you are someone who is has some type of addiction and you're really trying to cut that off of your life. Like you're in the process of like getting out of some type of addiction that you have. It could even be just like sugar addiction or something like that, but it's some type of addiction. Or and if that's not your case, then people might see you as just cutting off anything that's toxic in your life. Like it's like the devil is there, so like toxicity enters your life and you observe it, you analyze it, and then with the Queen of Swords you cut it off. So it could be either of those. Like either you have some type of addiction and people see you as trying to get rid of that, or you don't have some type of addiction, but as soon as there's some toxicity coming into your life, you just immediately, not immediately, but you just like figure it out and cut it off. I feel like if you have some type of addiction, people do believe that you'll be able to cut it off. It's like they feel like you have what you need to be able to get rid of it, the addiction. Now the combination of the devil and the hangman and then the King of Cups is right beside it. I feel like people could perceive you as being a little moody, like maybe having some type of emotional issues. And there's the moon too, so yeah, so like they could perceive you as being a little moody. Now with the King of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Sun, I feel like you're actually pretty honest with people about how you feel. And like not everyone is like that, but oh, I forgot to mention signs. Okay, the devil is Capricorn, Pisces is the hangman, the sun is Leo, and the moon is Pisces too. Or Scorpio. So you could be any of those signs or have those signs in your chart, or you could not, but this is the energy. Okay, coming back, King of Cups, Ace of Swords, and the Sun. So they see you as being very honest with your feelings. So let's say you're moody and you don't feel that great. Well, you're just gonna bluntly say it, or just be honest about it. Like you're not really the type that will. Well, maybe you're the type that will lie if you don't feel good, but people perceive you as being pretty honest about it, actually. And not just with negative feelings, but also with like positive feelings. They feel like they perceive you as being able to identify your own feelings pretty clearly, because the Ace of Swords is about the truth and the Sun is about happiness, but in this case I'm seeing it about clarity. It's like you understand your feelings clearly. You see your feelings clearly, and you're honest about it. With the King of Cups, this is someone who has a very deep emotional who has very deep emotions. It's like, yeah, he's just really deep, and he has a lot of emotions, and sometimes that's overwhelming, but the people perceive you as seeing through your emotions pretty clearly. And so if you do have some type of addiction, maybe that is why they think that you could easily cut that off and like recover in a sense from your addiction, because you're really good at identifying your feelings. And often when you get addicted to something, it's because you're trying to numb some type of feeling, whether that be like emotional or mental. And I know this sounds weird to say that a feeling can be mental, but like anxiety, I mean, it could be both, but I feel like sometimes it's more in your head and sometimes it's more like emotional. I don't know if you get it, but anyways, they see you as being very able to see your feelings clearly, and so they assume that it would be easy for you to cut off any type of addiction that you have, because you understand your feelings so much and you see them so clearly. Now with the Nine of Cups and the Moon, I keep trying to find another meaning, but the first thing that comes to my mind is an alcohol problem, like an alcoholic. So maybe you drink a lot, or maybe you're addicted to alcohol. It doesn't have to be this, but this is like the first thing that comes to my mind is that they see you as being as drinking a lot, like probably alcohol. And with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like you're slowly recovering from this. Maybe you have some type of mental illness too, like depression or something like that. With the moon can be anxiety too, or maybe you don't sleep well. You have like weird dreams. And maybe if you do drink, maybe that's why you drink, so you can sleep or something like that. But with the Knight of Pentacles, and since those two row are kind of linked, and since the Queen of Swords is here, I feel like people see you as slowly recovering from some type of addiction that you have, which could involve alcohol. Now, it could also be that they perceive you as... The Nine of Cups is about like fulfillment, but to me, it's like a bit in a selfish way, or in a hedonistic type of way. Like it's about the pleasure. It's not about like spiritual fulfillment. It's about material fulfillment. It's like feeling pleasure emotionally. So I feel like with this clarified by the moon, they could perceive you as using maybe dark ways in order to make you feel fulfilled. So the moon could be drugs, it could be, since there's the Nine of Cups, it could be alcohol, like I said, or it could even be some type of magical thing, because the moon is also kind of spiritual. Yeah, so if you're not addicted to anything really, well, maybe they're just completely wrong, or maybe this is just the wrong pile for you, because I feel it a lot. It's like kind of intense with the devil, the hangman, the moon, the nine of cups. It's like, yeah, I feel like people perceive you this way, so there must be something about you that make people think that you have some type of addiction that you're trying to get rid of, but it's like kind of in a slow process. Okay, so there's sacrifice. So I feel like you could be very giving to people, but in a exaggerated type of way. Like I feel like you would sacrifice yourself to please other people, especially like people you care about. Since there's a lot of water here, like a lot of water. Like there must be some water in your chart. At least this is how people perceive you, you know? But and water often, especially if they're in a bad place, so with the devil and the moon, like if you don't feel confident in yourself, or like if you feel rejected with by other people or something like that, you could have this tendency to give too much, try too hard, sacrifice too much for other people. And I feel like people could perceive you this way. Oh yeah, and I talked about addiction, right? Well, it's also like toxicity. So it doesn't have to be like an addiction, like something like a drug or even coffee or medication or something like that. It could also be a behavior, some type of toxic behavior that you could have, like being too giving and like to other people. This is unhealthy, right? Like it's not good for you, and that could be it for the devil and the moon that you're trying to stop or cut off. But it doesn't have to be like, I feel like it's going to be different for like everyone, and it's also just a perception of other people. But yeah, now with controlling the mind, I honestly don't feel like people see you as being very good at controlling your mind, because I feel like they see you as relying on stuff, like toxic stuff, to try and control your mind. Because I feel like you have so much emotions. And well, in a way, they do see you as being good at controlling your mind, but in the way that you see things clearly, like you understand your emotions, you see your emotions clearly. But if you have anxiety or something, and you're not able to like calm down by yourself and like surrender and just let go of the stress that you're feeling and the anxiety you're feeling, or something like, or something else, well, maybe you're relying on medication or drugs or sugar or anything to make you feel better, and so that your mind is not all over the place, or your emotions are not all over the place. And like I feel like it could be some type of drug, or even like daydreaming too much, or like fantasizing but in a toxic way, like ignoring your problems by fantasizing about positive stuff. Because on the picture, like he looks really dreamy, like he's seeing beautiful things. So you could be taking something that makes you see or feel beautiful things, because you want to like you don't want to be in your head anymore. Or maybe you don't want to face reality. And maybe that's not true, but I mean, this is just a perception of other people. I'm gonna repeat that a bunch of times because I don't want to offend anyone, and it doesn't have to apply to you. Then modest. So, yeah, with sacrifice and modest, they feel like you're just really giving, really kind. It's like you're not trying to step on anyone. You're not trying to be better than anyone. It's like you're modest. You're just, I feel like people could see you as like being sensitive, and kind of insecure in a way. So that would explain why you don't want to step on anyone's toes. You don't want to have too much of a presence around other people. You don't want to make other people feel bad. You don't want other people to dislike you. And that could be the reason why you also give too much of yourself and sacrifice too much for other people. And finally, there's exclusively surrendered to Krishna. I'm really wondering what this could be. I feel like people could think that you need some type of guidance. I feel like this is more of an advice. Like people think that maybe you should find a more spiritual way to deal with whatever toxicity you have in your life. Like maybe they think that you should get on a spiritual journey. You're watching a pick a card reading, so you must have some spiritual inclinations, but maybe they think that you could surrender to the divine, like the magical aspects of life or the esoteric aspects of life, and maybe they think that that could help you deal with anything that's toxic or that you're addicted on. I don't even know if you can say this way. Addicted on. Anyways, yeah, this is how I feel this card. They could also see you as very spiritual. But I'm really feeling like it's also an advice in a way. Like maybe surrender to something higher than yourself, something more spiritual, something more divine. And that could like help you get in balance, like in balance within yourself. Okay, so if you chose pile number 3, this was your reading. This is how people perceive you. If it resonated, like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.